Hey, what is up everyone? It is Rich. Alright, welcome to a video. Today we are going to look at Capcom Design Works. I actually did a tiny bit of prelim work. Just this. I just patched the cover together. Oh, it's missing a piece. So when I first broke in at Wildstorm, I'm going to get right into this video. I'll do some updates throughout the video, so stick it out. This is going to be really fun. When I first got to Wildstorm, I had a knowledge of basically anything that I could find at my local comic book shop. But what ends up happening is when you start meeting comic book artists who some have been professionals for a while, some have grown up in very different parts of the country or even world than you have. Some have gone to art school. I had a couple of friends at Wildstorm that had gone to the Kubert school. And all that compiles, and there starts to be this like almost like induct in indoctrination that you get as you become a pro and you start to talk to other professionals, and they'll start bringing up like must-have books and artists, and a lot of it you'll have never seen. You may have seen, you may be aware of it, like you go, oh, I've seen that art on like the video game, or I went to a toy store and I saw this stuff, but I never knew there was like an art book of it. So Capcom Design Works, Intron Depot, those were some books that right when I got to Wildstorm, the first year I went to Comic Con, I've told this story before, I think I spent almost $700 on art books, because I was being exposed to so much different stuff really, really quickly, because I'd have friends that were completely into Capcom, and they're just like, dude, you have to get this book, you have to see this book. And I was sold. And so I thought, yesterday we did Berserk. We were talking a little bit about Akiman, and I was saying that I had been watching the High Score, a documentary on Netflix, and I did watch the video that the person recommended on him. I was subscribed to that channel. I wrote you back and said that, but yeah, I was already subscribed to that channel, but I had not seen that video. I'd watched some of the other ones, and I ended up watching like 3 of those little bios of the artists last night, and they're really, really interesting. It's interesting. They always seem like such peaceful people, and yet there's this intensity and drive that in particular Japanese artists have. This like sacrifice that they make for their art, and they always seem alone. Like I watched the Amano one, and it's just, you go like, do any of these guys have wives, or do they just live alone? I think he was wearing a wedding ring, though, actually, now that I think of it. But some of the other artists, they almost like isolate themselves, and it's just their life becomes about creating art. And yeah, they're really, really interesting. So I'll put a link to the YouTube channel if you're not subscribed to it already, and you can check out. I'll have a link to a couple of the videos, and you can do it. But anyway, so this is Capcom Design Works. I have this book, I have the follow-up, I have other Capcom books. I love them, and yeah, let's get into it. This is a great little cover. There will be people that will watch this video that will know way more, not only about the artists that have created the art, but the characters too. So, even though I own this book, I'm not super, super knowledgeable or any kind of expert on this stuff. So, I'm just a fan of the art. This is really cool. I know Dustin Wynn is a big fan of the Capcom stuff, and I think one of his favorite artists is actually Akima. This is really cool. So this is the inside gatefold. Another book that I did open that book of, or one of those type things, was the Orange book. If you've never seen that, it's spelled like orange. He's an awesome, awesome artist. So this is the rest of the cover that we didn't get to see. The scan might have been in with the scans. These files are so humongous that I could only open like 50, but 50 will be quite a long video. We'll be able to look at a lot of art. This is just the little wax paper thing. All right, so let's get into this. But yeah, there's just so many great ideas. I mean, at this point, this book would be very retro. It honestly, even when I first got it, it was it felt contemporary, but it did definitely had a little bit of like a not old school feel, but it was definitely the core of a lot of these ideas. And I know that the stuff went back further than that, but what I mean is it would be like, it was like the 3rd generation of this type of art, and really influential. But as we know, art just got better and better and better. Not better, but it got more advanced. The techniques got more advanced. There was more digital stuff going on, more people piggybacking off of these ideas. This is really, really cool. It's funny because the placement of it, you would almost think that as you flip through the book, it was going to be an animated sequence, which would have been really cool because this is such a badass drawing, just as this. And I mean, you don't even see the character's face, but I could see where, like, if you flip the page, then he would be in a slightly different pose, and then the next page he'd be doing some crazy move, and you could literally have him just move right across the bottom of the page. It'd be very, very cool. Campbell did that in one of his Danger Girl sketchbooks, I think, something like that. But the fun of these books too is just that there's such a wide variety of styles too. You've got stuff that's more cartoony like this, still really, really beautifully colored too, and it's stuff that is hyper, you know, smoothly, almost like traditionally painted, and then things that fall in between, and it's really, really cool. It was interesting too because as things went along, you know, more and more digital techniques were implemented in the work. So you'll start to see like textures that were probably digitally placed on art, or you'll see a little stabs at like 3D models and stuff like that. Maybe not necessarily in this book, but you know, that technology was there, and so you know, if there's technology and advancements in art, you better believe creative people are gonna grab onto them and then just take it to just extreme levels. Nice colors on this, and this too, actually, and this as well. Really, really beautifully done. In the Amano video, AMANO video that I watched last night, it was incredible because we've talked about this before, and I had brought up the question of where in the hell is all the original art for all these incredibly huge series that are so popular and so influential. Like, where's all the original art for Berserk? Where's all the original art for Akira? Where's all the original art for Blam or whatever, you know, One Punch Man? Somewhere it exists. And in Amano's video, he actually goes into this room with these huge like art file cabinets, and he starts pulling out all this art from throughout his career. It's really fascinating, but you do get the impression that they sit on a lot of it. He is doing more fine art now, so he's selling those pieces, but I don't know what the, like, in America, if you do work for hire on like a video game, generally the company will keep your art, as far as I know. Is you draw it like on the premises. Maybe not as much now, but I still think that there's a lot of that studio thing. But yeah, I mean, you have non-disclosure agreements, and you know, they might in theory be able to keep all your design sketches, you know, if they were done on paper. So that could happen, but the manga artists, I would assume, own their own creations. So it's fascinating. But yeah, Mono had a ton of art, and it was really, really cool. This is really beautifully painted. It almost looks like airbrush to me. That's nice. Really well done. And it may not be airbrushed. Oh, this is cool. I love her pose. That's really nice. Her shoes are so funny. They're like Minnie Mouse shoes. It was interesting, too. He was talking about designing the characters. I can't remember if it was in the Netflix documentary, if it was... I think it was in the thing I saw last night, and he was talking about the one female character that he designed and how originally she had different pants. And when they started animating it, it just didn't look cool. And so they ended up putting her in, like, tights and then gave her boots. Yeah, you know, stuff like that is really true. You start having to really move a character around in space, whether it's a comic book character design or whatever. It's going to need to look cool from every angle, and it should also have a pretty unique silhouette that you're able to identify. And I've heard more than once from pencilers cursing artists that have designed character costumes in comics but never had to draw the book, where it's like, you know, they'll hire so and so, or they'll go, oh, he draws cool stuff, let's have him design the new Teen Titans costumes, and then you're the one that ends up having to draw them, and you want to murder the person because it's so time consuming, or it's very challenging to make it look cool from certain angles, whatever it is, you know what I mean? If you've ever dealt with it, I mean, there's some costume iterations that just you might not like or might not connect with you. I've seen it just throughout my career where it's like character that I would normally like, and then the company decides to give them a new costume, and you go, Really? That? I don't know. I'm not feeling it. And sometimes they stick with them for a long time. There's one character in particular I'm thinking of where they changed the costume. I don't know if it's ever really gone back to a better version, and I don't like it at all. But um, you know, a really good artist designed it. It's just one of those things. My taste is clearly different than theirs. That's all. Viva la différence. All right, this is cool. I don't know if I have it in here. There was another book that I bought that a friend of mine had. Shoot, I haven't seen it in a while. I don't know if I'll be able to remember the name of it. What was it? I'm looking at my bookshelf really fast. It's really, really cartoony stuff. Damn, what is it? My friend J.J. Kirby, Javon Kirby. He did the Spawn Kills Everyone comic. Stop! No fighting, you guys. Seriously, stop it. Stop. No fighting. I'll kick both of you out of here if you fight. Hold on, sorry. They're gonna keep fighting. Stop. Don't fight. There's plenty of room for everyone. Listen to the human. The human knows. Alright. I apologize, friends. Yeah, he had turned me on to it. JJ's really good, but he loves this kind of stuff. And, yeah, he had a book at work. I'll get the name of it, and I'll post it in the comment section, too, for you guys. I haven't seen it in a while. It's a little bit like this kind of art, but it's a huge book of just tons and tons of design sketches. Akiman. It was always fun, like, when you would go through and you would see the book and you would see who did the drawings. You'd be like, yeah, he's my favorite. But there's other ones that are great, too. See, this is very, very different art. It's really cool. It's a cool drawing. Do you enjoy drawing dinosaurs? Have you drawn dinosaurs? I have not drawn dinosaurs, but I draw decent dragons and monsters, so I would believe based on that and the shape of things like dragons that I wouldn't have too much trouble with these type of heads. But these heads are tricky, and they don't always look good from every angle. You really, really have to understand how to put these shapes down and make it look comfortable, or they can look a little wacky. A little wacky. So this is this Resident Evil? No, not Resident Evil. What is this? I don't know why that reminded me of one of the Resident Evil characters. None of this other stuff does, but... Oh, Dino Crisis. My bad. I never played it. Oh, wow. That's cool. It's funny. This stuff is starting to bring all these artists to my mind that I would look at back in this time and then when I had first got online. I can't remember a lot of their names, unfortunately. It's been so long since I've really looked at their art. I mean, internet, as it got rolling, especially in the last 5 or 10 years, it's just crazy how much good art is online. So it's like we've been overwhelmed by artists popping up from everywhere. And some of the old school guys, they're just low key, you know? They're online, but they maybe don't understand that, like, you know, oh, I should have a... Most of them, I think, have done it by now, but you know what I'm saying. Like, they're late to the game. It's like, just get on Instagram and post your old stuff. You'll build a huge following. You have so many people that love your work. Let's do it. Come on, friends. Ducati. What is this from? I'm trying to read what it was. Raccoon. Are these like early? No, so this must be Resident Evil, right? Am I tripping? Raccoon Police Department. Is this Jill? I'm out of it. I don't know. Yeah, interesting. I don't even remember ever seeing these in this. It's funny. Oh, that's trippy. That's really, really weird. I'm trying to remember. I guess I got into Resident Evil in oh man, what would it have been? 96? 95, 96? So long ago. It's crazy, but I didn't realize that there was Resident Evil art in this book. I don't know why. It's been, I guess, long enough. Oh, man, that's crazy. Yeah, Yeah, I didn't realize that there was Resident Evil art in this book. Oh, that's cool. Wow. I wish I could read the designer's comments. He's like, I had to make these characters look scary. It's like, you did a good job. Look at this guy's haircut. That's funny. Now he would have, like, the samurai top knot. Soft image 3D. Guy, can you imagine back when they did this, what the computer is like compared to what we have now? That's crazy. They did a nice job with this, though. So this art was probably made somewhere between 1991. This particular stuff, I mean, 1991 and 94. I'm guessing, but I would say that would probably be the window. As cheesy as this scene is now, this was so iconic when you first saw it. When you go in the room, the zombie turns around and looks at you. That was like Resident Evil had arrived. It was so badass. You watch it now and it's like, it looks like it's 4 pixels. Hey, look, it's Marilyn Manson. Fail to see the tragic. This is like Smells Like Children, Marilyn Manson, Portrait of an American Family era. She's cool. That's fine. This reminds me of something my friend Carlos would draw. Oh man, that's cool. Dude, look at this. Oh, it's so good. I loved Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, and 10. I want to play some of the newer ones. The newest one, it looks, or they redid 7. I mean, that would be fun for me to do. I watched some of the walkthroughs of it online. Look good. Oh, you know, we can go full screen mode. What am I doing? Oh, okay, I'll give some updates. I mean, obviously I'm gonna need to focus on this is nice. I'll have to do a video that focuses on it so that people get the word, but I'm gonna have a deadline for the coloring samples, and I'm not gonna do a sequential for everyone. I've seen enough and have seen sort of what, like, I have a really good idea of what's coming in and how much I can gauge just based on these samples. So I'm not going to do the sequential because I really feel guilty having people do a lot of work on spec. You know what I mean? It's just not cool. It's way too many people spending their time. And like you can tell the people that are close and then, you know, people that are maybe like just more inexperienced at coloring. It's, like I said, it's not the crime of the century. We all start somewhere, but yeah, I don't feel like I need to give them a sequential, but there will be sequentials that I will share. So you're more than welcome if you want to do fan art on them to do it. So, but I was gonna announce it anyway so that people know. But tomorrow I'll do a video and I'll give all the updates. And then if you're watching and you've done fan art, please send it to blasterkidcomic@gmail.com so that I have all the fan art in one spot. I love the colors and all this stuff. Because, yeah, I mean, people are sending it to me from so many different sources, and it's very, very difficult for me to keep it all organized. And if there's one spot where people submit it, it's real easy for me to just pull it onto my computer and save it. Because when I'm getting it on my phone through, like, text messages and stuff like that, it just gets misplaced. I've got a lot of plates in the air right now. This is cool. That's really neat. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. The button must have stuck or something. I didn't press it twice. It just did it on its own. Like, this looks a little 3D to me. Oh, I guess all this is. Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry. I could tell this was like a photo or something, but I was just focused on this, and I was like, it's cool. It's like, it looks really, really good. but it also had a little bit of a, well, not a little, it looked like a little bit like a 3D model, but I get it. Strider, I heard you. This could be Tarada. I think this is Tarada. I could be wrong though. I'm not gonna hold myself to it. I didn't realize Tarada had worked for them back then. I saw this piece when the files opened because it really stood out. But I had collected Tarada stuff before I really knew anything about him. In fact, I didn't have any friends that even knew who he was. I had bought the book just on a whim at a Japanese bookstore one day, and I saw it, and everything is always sealed. I always I talk about this when I share these types of stories, but the tricky thing at like a Japanese bookstore, like a authentic one, is everything is pretty well wrapped up and just beautifully packaged. But the unfortunate part about that is you really don't know what you're buying inside, especially if you're someone like me who I just kind of look at the cover and sort of go, this looks kind of cool. Maybe I should get this. So I bought it, got it home, and loved it. And then I bought a sequential comic that he had done. I think it was it like the something dragon or lion? It has, I think it might have other stories in it too, like a really creepy, is it Cinderella or Alice in Wonderland? Like, it's really, really dark. Snow White, something like that. I haven't seen it in a while. And then the other book that I got was Cannabis Works. But the way I got that was the person at the place messed up. I said, do you have any more Tarada? And then they gave me Tanaka. I think that's right. Is that who did Cannabis Works? Tanaka. Either way, when I got home, I was pleasantly surprised. So I took it to Wildstorm. I showed everyone. I said, dude, look at this book. Cannabis Works. It's the shit. And it is. It's great. This is cool. This is like simple Frazetta. Like this Frank would go way further than this, but it's got some kind of Frazetta isms in it. Just the touch. This is great. Man, that is so cool looking. There was an artist at Wildstorm named Alan M. who would sign his name Pill. I brought him up in at least one video before, I remember. And he was really good at drawing this kind of stuff, like the sort of bubble robot tech stuff. So, yeah, he was probably one of the people that brought in these types of books and shared them with all of us. I don't remember seeing them from him, but I know for a fact that he was a huge fan of this stuff. It's weird. He's one of those artists that just vanished. I have no idea what happened to him. I don't know after even like 1998 if he still drew. He could have literally just wrapped it up. He was young. He was actually one of the youngest artists at Wildstorm that ever came in. He was 17 when he got hired and may have even been discovered when he was 16. Later there was another 17-year-old that was finishing high school that was brought in, Jason Johnson. Yeah, Alan was super young when he was hired. Okay, is that it? Oh, that is it. All right, let's do a few more. I'm fine doing a few more. Let's go like this way. Yeah, it would only open so many. So let's see. I think it opened about 50. We'll do another. So we'll take a second to open. You know what? Let's do it like this. I'll do it as a. We'll do it. We'll do a slideshow or no? These are weird files. They're JP2 files, something like that. I'm gonna have to open them. I was gonna try to do a slideshow. I don't think I can do it with this. Can I manage them? Oh, I see. Yeah, I won't switch them over to that function. All right, let me just open it. It'll take a sec to open them. Just chill. We'll talk for a minute while I'm doing it. All right, so I had deleted a video before I did this one, so I can't remember if I said this in the other video, but I actually had a friend who's a musician, and he did a 90-second piece of trailer music for me for my campaign, and it's really, really good. I was going to show a teaser of it, but it goes by so fast. Like 90 seconds is so fast that I figure I'm just going to save it. But the next thing that I also need to do is I need to actually come up with a final logo for the character. I've already got sort of a brand name for my comic book company, I guess you call it, like my publishing company. But I need to refine that logo. But yeah, I actually need to do a Final Blaster Kid logo. I've got an idea for it. I don't know if it will be too busy though, because my thought was take the idea of her being a bomb and having the logo be almost like the inner workings of it. So like the B, as you move across to the K or the KID, it would be kind of like almost like you were following like a digital fuse of some sort, where maybe there was a little bit of a sparky look to the left side of the drawing, but as it goes through, you can kind of see the path that the fuse would run to ignite the actual bomb end of it. But again, logos should be pretty quick to read, and having stuff like detail and whatnot might not be the best call. So we'll see. If not, I'll just create a nice logo that looks good. So all right, let's go into full screen mode. But yeah, all that stuff needs to be done, you know. And like I said, it's things that I'll point out to all of you that most will be obvious when you hear it, but as you're doing something like this, you know, I would definitely recommend too writing down things, ideas, things that you need to do. Really, really start to keep track of what's going on in your life, because without it, you know, you have a higher likelihood of making missteps. So if anyone gives you advice and tells you, hey, this person has a video that might help you, 3 days from now, when you've gotten that sort of hot tip that you wanted to look at but were too busy at the time, you'll remember where you saw it. You go, was that YouTube or was that an email? Was that an instant message through Facebook? Was that an instant message through Instagram? Was that a comment on a Facebook post that I posted, or was it a comment on YouTube? I assure you that the same thing will happen to you that is happening to me. So write it down immediately, and or type it, you know, on a memo. Oh, and this would be another bit of advice that I would give all of you is keep your documents and sketches and all that stuff in one place for each title. Because I cobbled ideas for Blaster Kid together over a long period of time, I initially had them spread out everywhere, and it's like I had to go through notebooks, and I would find 3 or 4 pages, or maybe 10 or 15 pages of things that I had written down. I have folders. I mean, if you look at my desktop right now, I have, look at all this. Is I save works in progress of the script as I go along. But yesterday, what I have, like 5 of these. Now I have a ton, but I think on this file. But yeah, it's one of those things you really have to be on it. I have thumbnails everywhere, and it's a pain in the ass. So try to keep your stuff in one place. I would highly recommend that, and especially if you've been working on it over a period of time, you'll have an even higher likelihood of just wasting hours looking for things. You know, I was nearly sure at one point I had done an outline where I had like written like maybe 1 through 48 and just gone like page 1 is this, page 2 is this, page 3 is this. I couldn't find it. It's not the biggest deal in the world because I have better versions of the script, but I was still curious to see it, and it's just their little stupid rabbit holes you can go down with stuff. But the script will be out of my hair by tonight, and I won't have to deal with that again, except if I want to do small tweaks along the way, or add dialogue, or reword things and things. I always love this page. This is one of my favorite pages. This pose in particular right here is just great. But yeah, this was one of those ones where you see it and just go, hell yeah, I think this looks cool. These are really cool. This is great. This guy's awesome. This guy's pretty funny. It's like, he's almost got a Leyendecker sort of vibe to it. This is cool too. Wow, that's cool. Wow, great hand. I like that a lot. Yeah, so hopefully this is inspiring people, getting you pumped up to draw today or tonight, whenever you have time to do it. But do it. That's the important thing. I was telling my friend James, I got stung. I got stung by something today on my leg while I was walking. I saw an unusual bug flying low. It didn't look like a bee. It was kind of more gray than a bee. But it was like the shape of a bee, but looked like the color of a fly almost. And as I was walking by, it nailed me. And then there was that moment where I'm like, am I going to go into shock? Is this it? Am I going to die in the street here? But I'm tough as nails. I'm mentally a pussy. Physically, I'm strong. So I made it through. There's that 20-minute window though, where like, am I gonna go in anaphylactic shock? I don't know what's gonna happen. I've had people. I had my wife's brother. He's not allergic to bees, but he got stung by a bee and it messed him up, and he did actually have to go to the emergency room. So you never know. Be careful out there, friends. It's a wild world. Man, that's so awesome. God. I'm really into the Metal Gear Solid art too. I've been looking at those books a lot. Not lately, but a few weeks ago I was looking through it. It's so crazy, but this has kind of got a little bit of that feel. The artist for Metal Gear Solid is much more kinetic, but I wish I could think of that other artist that I like so much. He was so good. Chapter 2. Oh, these ads? What is this? Well, that's interesting. It's got a very like 1970s heavy metal magazine feel to it. Yeah, this is definitely teetering on old school. It's like old school and new school starting to blend together just a little bit more. But yeah, it looks like it could be a pulp cover from back in the day. I want to say that I saw this in a documentary I was watching. Yeah, this is a documentary. Yeah, this? They either showed this in High Score or in his little mini doc. I remember this pose. That's cool. The baby. It's like Baby Yoda. Unscrew that thing and you're just like Baby Yoda. Wow, look at these dudes. Lost World. It's funny because this almost looks like the dude from Resident Evil, just like super hopped up on the super juice. Super juice. He looks sad. Why are you sad, dude? You're in a Capcom book. Chin up, son. Alright. Ooh, look at that. That looks like a TSR cover for Dungeons and Dragons. Village of Sajkanth. Whatever. Or Village of Hamlet. I like Tomb of Horrors. White Plume Mountain. I liked Queen of the Demon Web Pits. People were like, yes, go, go. What was the one that was the one space one? I rebought it too. Journey of the Edges of the, what was it called? Had the gun that looked, it was like you would shoot yourself with it. Had the photo, not the photo, it had the drawing book that you could actually show when you get to Expedition of the Barrier Peaks? No, that's not it. Someone will know what I'm talking about. White Plume Mountain. What was the magic item in there? You guys know. Black Razor, right? They had 3 artifacts that were like god level shit. Black Razor was, or was it Black Razor? What was it called? It was almost like you could get Elric's sword, sort of, like a version, a version of it. I think it had intelligence too. That was always like something. That was what you strove for in D&D. This guy's really cool. Yeah, I think the one might have been Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. And then remember all the Dragonlance stuff? And then what was the Dracula stuff called? Ravenloft. Have they done a good like art of Dungeons and Dragons? Okay, so we're good. I'm gonna end it there. I gotta get to work. I need to finish the script. I've got like 19 pages to finish to just get a script for myself so that I'll be happy. So alright. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day and smash that like and subscribe if you haven't. Alright, later.